The hour of convening having arrived, all members will report to the floor of the House. All members of the House of Representatives will report to the floor and take seats. All members. Mr. Clerk, would you ring the bell? All members of this House will please report to the floor of the chamber and take your seats. We are going to have the morning roll call. All members present will please vote green to signify their presence in the chamber, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. Doorkeepers will please close the doors and keep them closed. Good morning. Welcome to Legislative Day 31. The end is almost in sight. We will begin our day with scripture reading and prayer by the chaplain, after which we will pledge allegiance to the flag of our country. Our chaplain this morning will be introduced by the lady from the 173rd House District, Chairman Darlene Taylor. Chairman Taylor.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker, members of the House. This morning it is my honor to introduce our chaplain of the day, Pastor Johnny Moore. Reverend Moore is the lead pastor of Family Worship Center, a growing congregation in Cairo, Georgia. He is known as a motivator, encourager, and equiper of pastors and leaders. He is the founder of Aim High Incorporated, a leadership development company, ruralpastors.com, a company that develops resources and materials for rural pastors and churches. He has also a series of 3 books called the Pastor's Corner Collection. Reverend Moore is ordained bishop of the Church of God and received a Master's of Art degree in ministry leadership from the Church of God Theological Seminary in Cleveland, Tennessee. He serves as an executive board member of the Grady County Chamber of Commerce and also serves as the chaplain for the Grady County Sheriff's Office and Fire Department. He and his wife Diane returned to Johnny's hometown of Cairo, Georgia in 1994 to begin the Family Worship Center. The church started with 14 people in their first service and has grown to a membership of over 800, with an average Sunday morning of 600. Pastor Johnny loves his hometown and the people of Cairo. He has committed the past 25 years to making a difference in the people's lives. He walks the walk. Over the past 7 years, under the leadership of Pastor Johnny Moore, Family Worship Center has made a difference in Cairo. He's not only the pastor of the church, but the entire community. He and his Family Worship Center are a community center. They have helped to build a 31-unit senior adult housing complex called The Haven. He and his congregation have been instrumental in every way. They were key in helping the community during Hurricane Michael last year, and even with the recent tornadoes. They are a driving force to stop drug abuse and helping to lead youth in our community. God has called Pastor Johnny to rural America, and he is committed to fulfilling this call. He has spoken at state camps and meetings and conferences. He is truly a leader. He hosts and conducts what's called the Big Dream and Small Town Conference every year in Cairo. With his heart for rural Georgia, he is truly a man after this house's heart. Johnny and his wife Diane have 3 children, Joshua and his wife Hannah, and Jonathan and his wife Ashley. He is also the proud granddaddy of Jude, who was born last year. Now here is Pastor Johnny Moore.
Thank you so much. Good morning to all of you today. It's a great day. It's an honor to be back here with you again today, and I'm just so thankful to be able to share with you. I want to say a special thank you to our speaker, Speaker Ralston, today for the invitation to be with you, and also to our very own representative, Darlene Taylor. I'm so thankful for her and that all that she does in our District 173. I bring you greetings today from Cairo, Georgia, and Grady County, and from all the great folks at Family Worship Center, a place where we love, we learn, and we lead. I want to say thank you for your generosity and your prayers for Grady County during Hurricane Michael, and also in the aftermath of the recent tornado last week. I just want to say thank you so much for your help. I would like to share a passage of Scripture with you today from 2 Corinthians chapter 4, beginning in verse 16. It says this: "That is why we never give up. Though our bodies are dying, our spirits are being renewed every day. For our present troubles are small and won't last very long. Yet they produce for us a glory that vastly outweighs them and will last forever. So we don't look at the troubles we can see now. Rather, we fix our gaze on things that cannot be seen. For the things we see now will soon be gone, but the things we cannot see will last forever." One of the verses that jumps out at me in this passage is verse 18, where Paul says we fix our gaze on things that cannot be seen. That phrase, fix our gaze, speaks of focus. The Apostle Paul is talking about the power of focus. You know, most of us many times focus on the wrong things. We focus on things that catch our attention, troubles and problems and disappointments, and many times things that we can't change or things that we can't do anything about. We all battle with distractions in life that pull our attention away so many times from the things that are most important. Several years ago, I came up with just a game plan that I've tried to live by that helps me keep my focus on the things that I should focus on. It's a simple acrostic on the word focus. I challenge you this morning to join me and do the same. Here it is. Letter F. Fix your eyes on Jesus. We have to lock our eyes in on a target, on a goal, and we have to go towards that. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 2 says, "Fixing our eyes on Jesus, the author and the finisher of our faith." We have to lock our eyes on that goal that's ahead of us, and we can't be distracted by things that demand our attention. Letter O, we have to overlook those that are negative and critical. Just curious, anybody run into any negative or critical people this morning? Well, sometimes it seems that these people just seem to always find us. Or they do, preachers anyway. They just seem to find me. But we have to take the high road, and we have to overlook those that are negative and critical. Sometimes you just have to put your hands over your ears, whatever it takes. Overlook those that are negative and critical. Letter C, concentrate on our strengths. You know, we all have weaknesses, and sadly, we spend more time dealing with our weaknesses than we do our strengths. But what we should do is concentrate on a strength. A weakness is going to always be a weakness. That's why it's a weakness. But a strength is what's going to put us over, and that's where we need to focus our attention on and concentrate on the things, the gifts, the abilities that we have. And unless they're moral issues, you can work on a weakness, it's still going to be a weakness. work out of your strength. If we're going to focus, we have to concentrate on our strengths. Letter U, we have to understand that there will be times of testing. There are always times of testing. If you're going to pass the test, or when we pass the test will pass. And anytime we're learning things, we have to take tests. So understand when a test comes against you, it's not a strange thing. It's just part of the journey. Peter says, dear friends, don't be surprised at the fiery trial you're going through, as if something strange were happening. Instead, he said, be very glad. So understand there will be times of testing. But letter C, we should stick with the dream in our heart. There's a dream in every one of us. There's a desire, a goal. You can't be distracted from it. We have to stick with it. Don't be distracted by things that don't matter. Let's put our focus on the things that God has put in our hearts. Fix our eyes on Jesus. Overlook those negative and critical. Concentrate on your strength. Understand there will be times of testing, but stick with the dream in your heart. Then we can say, like the Apostle Paul, we're not going to focus on the troubles that we see. We're going to fix our gaze on the things that cannot be seen. Why don't you stand with me this morning as we pray? Would you bow your heads? Father God, I come to you this morning thanking you for this opportunity to share this simple devotion with these great legislators. Lord, I thank you for every one of them, and I pray for your blessing to be upon their lives. Lord, you know what each one of them are going through today and carrying today, and I pray for those. Lord, I pray for those who have kids that are in trouble. I pray for those, Lord, that are struggling with marriage issues, those dealing with sickness and disease. I pray, Lord, for those carrying burdens for their district. Lord, you know what it is that are burdening these men and women today, and I pray that you would help them to focus not on what is seen, but on what is not seen. I ask you, Lord, today to bring a turnaround in their situation. Show yourself strong in behalf of each of these. Bless their lives, Lord, their families, their work, and all that they set their hands to do. I thank you, Lord, that you've heard my prayer today, and I give you praise in advance for all that you will do in every life represented here today. I pray this in the mighty name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and amen. God bless you in the great state of Georgia. Can we join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Doorkeepers will unlock the doors. Chair recognizes Chairman Darlene Taylor, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits.
Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Information and Audits have read the proceedings of the previous legislative day and found them to be correct.
Chairman Taylor, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, reports that the journal of the previous legislative day has been read and found to be correct. Is there any objection to the confirmation of the journal? The chair hears none, and the journal is confirmed. The clerk will read the resolution establishing the order of business for the day.
Mr. Burns, the 159th moves the following be established as the order of business during the first part of the period. Unanimous consents. Introduction of bills and resolutions. First reading and reference of House bills and resolutions. Second reading of bills and resolutions. Reports of standing committees. Third reading and passage of uncontested local bills and resolutions. Mourning orders.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the resolution establishing the order of business for the day? The chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. First reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill 596 by Representative Jackson, the 128th, the bill being entitled an act to authorize the assessment and collection of a technology fee by the State Court of Washington County.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 597 by Representative Houston, the 170th, the bill being entitled an act to provide a new charter for the city of Sparks.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 598 by Representative Fleming, and the 121st, the bill being entitled an act to amend an act providing for a new charter for the city of Harlem.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 599 by Representative Alexander of the 66th, Bruce of the 61st, Bodie of the 62nd, and Beasley Teague of the 65th. The bill entitled an act to amend an act creating the Board of Commissioners of Douglas County.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 600 by Representative Dickey of the 140th, Washburn 141st, Holmes of the 129th. Bill be entitled an act to amend an act creating the Board of Commissioners of Roads and Revenue for the County of Monroe.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 601 by Representative England of the 116th and Gaines of the 117th. Bill being entitled an act to amend an act to provide a new charter for the city of Statham.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 602 by Representative Dempsey of the 13th, Lumsden of the 12th, Scoggins of the 14th. Bill being entitled an act to create the Rome Building Authority.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 603 by Representative Dempsey of the 13th, Lumsden of the 12th, Scoggins of the 14th. Bill being entitled an act to amend an act providing for the compensation of the members of the County Board of Education of Floyd County.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 604 by Representative Cannon of the 58th, Kendrick of the 93rd, Scott of the 76th, Shannon of the 84th, McLeod of the 105th. Bill be entitled an act to amend Chapter 1 of Title 35 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to general provisions relative to law enforcement.
Public safety and homeland security.
House Bill 605 by Representative Bentley of the 139th. Bill be entitled an act to amend Chapter 7 of Title 31 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to health care facilities.
Judiciary non-civil.
House Bill 606 by Representative Bentley, 139th. Bill be entitled an act to amend Chapter 1 of Title 33 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to general provisions regarding insurance.
Insurance.
That completes first readers.
Second reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill 592 by Representative Meeks of the 178th, Corbett of the 174th, England of the 116th, and Rhodes of the 120th, the bill relating to Georgia Forest Land Protection Act of 2008. House Bill 593 by Representative Benton of the 31st, a bill relating to retirement and pensions. House Bill 594 by Representative Buckner of the 137th, a bill to amend an act to reincorporate the town of Waverly Hall in Harris County. House Bill 595 by Representative Parrish of the 158th, a bill to provide that future elections for the office of Judge of Probate Court of Jenkins County shall be nonpartisan elections. House Resolution 480 by Representative Cannon of the 58th and Olowitz of the 42nd, Bruce of the 61st, Burnell of the 77th, Shannon of the 84th, and others, a resolution urging the Georgia Department of Public Health to create reporting for fibroids. Through second readers.
Reports of standing committees. The clerk will read.
Representative England, 116th District Chairman of the Committee on Appropriations, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Appropriations has had under consideration the following bills of the Senate. Has instructed me to report same back to the House the following recommendations. Senate Bill 67, due pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative England, the 116th District, Chairman. Representative Stevens, the 164th District, Chairman of the Committee on Economic Development and Tourism, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Economic Development and Tourism has had under consideration the following bill of the Senate. Has instructed me to report the same back to the House. The following recommendations. Senate Bill 80 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Stevens of the 164th District, Chairman. Representative Don Parsons of the 44th District, Chairman of the Committee on Energy, Utilities, and Telecommunications, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Energy, Utilities, and Telecommunications has had under consideration the following bills of the Senate. Has instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. Senate Bill 17 do pass. Senate Bill 66 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Don Parsons, the 44th District, Chairman. Representative Sharon Cooper, the 43rd District, Chairman of the Committee on Health and Human Services, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Health and Human Services had under consideration the following bill of the Senate. Has instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. Senate Bill 16 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Sharon Cooper, the 43rd District, Chairman. Representative Richard Smith of the 134th District, Chairman of the Committee on Insurance, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Insurance has had under consideration the following bills of the Senate. Has instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. Senate Bill 18 do pass. Senate Bill 118 do pass by committee substitute. Senate Bill 156 do pass. Senate Bill 202 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Richard Smith of the 134th District, Chairman. Representative Jan Tankersley of the 160th District, Chairman of the Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination Local, submitted the following report. The Speaker, Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination Locals had under its consideration the following bills of the House and Senate, has instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 574 do pass. House Bill 584 do pass. House Bill 585 do pass. House Bill 590 do pass. House Bill 591 do pass. Senate Bill 111 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Jan Tankersley, the 160th District, Chairman. Representative Corbett of the 174th District, Chairman of the Committee on Motor Vehicles, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Motor Vehicles has had in consideration the following bills of the Senate. Has instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. Senate Bill 8 do pass. Senate Bill 122 do pass by committee substitute. Senate Bill 149 do pass. Senate Bill 212 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Corbett of the 174th District, Chairman. Representative Powell of the 32nd District, Chairman of the Committee on Regulated Industries, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Regulated Industries has had in consideration the following bills of the Senate. Has instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendation. Senate Bill 153 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Powell of the 32nd District, Chairman. Representative Benton of the 131st District, Chairman of the Committee on Retirement, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Retirement has had under consideration the following bills of the Senate. Has instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendation. Senate Bill 55 do pass. Senate Bill 73 do pass. Senate Bill 176 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Benton of the 31st District, Chairman. And that completes the reading of the reports of standing committees.
We are going on now to the local calendar. This House will come to order. House will come to order. We are going on to the local calendar. One bill on the local calendar is an agree-disagree. Having received the requisite number of signatures required, the House delegation wishes to agree to the Senate substitute to the bill. Third reading and passage of uncontested local bills. If there is no objection, we will vote on the local calendar as a whole with a recorded vote. Hearing none, it is so ordered. The clerk will read the local calendar.
House Bill 574 by Representative Green in the 151st City of Dawson. House Bill 584 by Representative Carson of the 46th Cobb County. House Bill 585 by Representative Dukes of the 154th Miller County. House Bill 590 by Representative Petrie of the 166th City of Tybee Island. House Bill 591 by Representative Petrie of the 166th City of Tybee Island. Senate Bill 111 by Senator Kirk of the 13th Dooley County. House Bill 95 by Senate Substitute by Representative Parrish of the 158th Jenkins County.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered on the local calendar? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bills? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall these bills now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bills on the local calendar will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the passage of the bills on the local calendar, the ayes are 159, the nays are 0. These bills, having received the requisite constitutional majority, are therefore passed. We are now going on to mourning orders, and under the spirit of the rules of the House, the chair is going to limit today mourning orders to 1 minute each. Chair recognizes for a mourning order Representative Dickerson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the late 1920s, the 19th Amendment of the United States Constitution was ratified, and women in this country was finally given the right to vote. It was a legislator in Tennessee that gave a deciding vote. As this amendment was being ratified, state legislators across the country wore a yellow ribbon to demonstrate their support of the suffrage movement. I would like to thank the Women's Legislative Caucus for a wonderful breakfast we had this morning and celebrating women. This is Women's History Month. I would like to thank Representative Lynn Smith. She was one of the founding members of the Women's Legislative Caucus for doing such a phenomenal job in which we were promoting, and the vision was to promote effective leadership and issues for women, children, and the environment. We continue to do those things. So, with that spirit in mind, I would like to say thank you.
People to stand. Oh, it's difficult?
No, we got one more.
Chair recognizes Representative Frazier for a mourning order.
Come on, ladies. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We were so honored to have over 30 plus women that we honored today from across the state of Georgia. And we presented to them the Nikki T. Randers Servant Leadership Award this morning at breakfast. And we are so honored right now to have many of them in the gallery. And we would like for you all to please stand so we can recognize you. And we ask that you continue your work in your prospective districts because you are the true leaders. and we respect that. Thank you so much for being with us today, and we congratulate you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Representative Bazemore for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning to my colleagues and all guests. This morning I rise to acknowledge yesterday, March 12th, 2019, was Georgians' Day of Remembrance of the Armenian Genocide of 1915 to 1923 and honoring the worldwide victims of genocide. I'd like to recognize two individuals in the gallery. And I'm sorry, I hope I don't mess up their names too bad. Sarkis Arkesian and Vidal Arkesian. Thank you so very much for all you do.
Chair recognizes Representative Stovall for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. This morning I'd like to welcome Claim Your Fame radio show. Lady Sharon Storm, Camellia Terrell, Dolores Walker-Burke of Claim Your Fame radio show have combined their talents to become powerhouses in the entertainment business and other ventures by hosting a fashion show, AIDS awareness, bullying, and sex trafficking prevention. Their connections have done this state well. I also would like to recognize Sharon Daniel, who was my Woman Servant Leadership awardee. She's my shero and older sister, but a trailblazing leader. My dad said every king has to have a kingmaker. She may seem quiet, but she gets the job done. She keeps me balanced. She's also the co-founder of Ambitious X Learning Center, where learning is unorthodox. She serves on several boards and leadership roles. Will you please help me to welcome Claim Your Fame radio show and Sharon Stovall Daniel. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Representative Walensky for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, everybody. Can Amy Zeta please rise? Amy Zeta is a constituent of mine. At 13 years old, she started a holiday celebration for children and families living in homeless shelters. That has continued for every year, and after 15 years, she started creating connected communities, which expanded the holiday party and started a monthly outreach program throughout Metro Atlanta. This year's holiday party is the 25th anniversary, and it will include 40 homeless shelters, and the party is run by teenagers, high school volunteers, and this year they'll have 350 high schoolers who will help over 1,000 children and families in need, distribute over 3,000 gifts, 1,000 books, personal care items, and these families get to have a full party with everything you can imagine. So please congratulate Amy Zeta for all she does for our community.
Chair recognizes Representative McLeod for a morning order.
Thank you, Speaker Ralston. Big up to my colleagues and to everyone in the balcony. I'm here I would like to welcome Gabe Okoye to the state capitol. He has been a resident of Gwinnett County since 1992. Gabe is a licensed civil engineer and the president and owner of Essex Geoscience Incorporated, an engineering and environmental company. He has over 30 years experience as an engineer. He's a tireless public servant. Gabe currently serves on the Gwinnett County Planning Commission for District 4. Until last December, Gabe served as the chairman of the Gwinnett Democratic Party. He was born in Nigeria and still is a very active in the Nigerian American community. He has previously served as the chairman for the Nigerian in Diaspora Organization in the America. This is an organization that unites Nigerians who reside in the two continents of America. He's a Ghanaian making positive changes in our county. I yield the well.
Chair recognizes Chairman Wes Cantrell for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, members of the gallery, I come this morning as someone who works on Sunday as a minister of the gospel. And this past week represents the worst Sunday of the year because we continue to do this thing called Spring Forward. And we do it on Saturday night for some reason. So today, I bring for your consideration a couple of bills. One would move Georgia to standard time permanently, stop the back and forth. The other would move Georgia to daylight savings time permanently and stop the back and forth. And I understand this would take an act of Congress to support this. But for one, I just wanted to speak my mind and say, let's do one or the other and stop with the back and forth. And if you support either of these proposals, I'll have them on my desk. Would welcome your signature to either one. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman F. Strachan for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We have an outstanding group of Georgia College and State University students with us. If those students would please rise, including Donald Schmidt, one of my outstanding constituents from House District 104. I want to thank these students for being with us here today. Members of the House, if you please welcome them. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Gardner for a morning order.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Today is Arc of Georgia Day. We are here to honor one of the many organizations that works in our community throughout the state to help develop programs and advocate for public policy to support people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. They offer all kinds of services in the community, including autism services, community living supports, preschool services in underserved area. So would you please join me in welcoming in the balcony in the orange shirts, Arc of Georgia.
Chair recognizes Chairman Hawkins for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today we have members of the Georgia Dental Association sitting up on the right. If you will give them a hand. Appreciate y'all coming today. Earlier this year, there was a resolution drawn on their behalf recognizing their work around this state in Children's Dental Health Month and a special day, Give Kids a Smile Day. Also for the dental treatment they provide at the Georgia Special Olympics and their work at Missions of Mercy. This year, Missions of Mercy was held at the James Brown Arena in Augusta, where they saw 1,800 low-income patients for 2 days, August 10th and 11th. Dentists from around this state participated in this. Also, I'd like to recognize them for the direct dental services program that they do, which $1.5 million of donated care is performed each year on patients around Georgia. Thank you for what you do. Appreciate it.
Chair wants to recognize on the floor of the House a former member of this body, former Representative Deborah Gonzalez. House will be at order. House will be at order. We have a number of invite resolutions today. Chair will ask the clerk to read the caption to House Resolution 452.
House Resolution 452 by Representative Reeves of the 34th, Cantrell of the 22nd, Dubnik of the 29th, Perkle of the 155th, Lumpson of the 12th, and others. A resolution recognizing and commending Coach Jeff Collins upon his selection as head coach of the Georgia Tech football team and for other purposes.
Chair is going to recognize in a moment Representative Burt Reeves. But I reflected with Representative Reeves that this is the difference in the standard between our flagship university and this school up the street up here. I have told Coach Smart, you do not speak to the House of Representatives until you bring back the national championship. But Representative Reeves has asked for permission, which I have granted, to Coach Collins, who is speaking to the House without ever having coached a game at Georgia Tech. So to commemorate the occasion, Coach, then I'm going to turn it over to Representative Reeves. I saw your press conference when you were announced, and I heard what you said. So I want you to take with you this red pen today with my regards and sign autographs out in the ante room with a red pen. Chair recognizes Representative Reeves for an invite resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That was quite a build-up there. I don't even really know what to say now, but y'all, I'm giddy right now. I'm so excited. I'm about to jump out of my skin up here with our coach. Coach Jeff Collins is a native Georgian. He's originally from Conyers, grew up in Conyers, Georgia. His wife is Jennifer and daughter Astrid. There's a few things you need to know about him. Number one, he's back in his native home, and one of the top reasons he's so happy to be back here is because Waffle House. Man loves Waffle House, and we had some this morning down on the bottom floor of the Capitol. But he was a linebacker at Western Carolina, and then he's coached at Georgia Tech twice for Coach O'Leary and then for Coach Chan Gailey. His coaching pedigree is amazing. In addition to coaching at Tech, he's coached at the University of Alabama. He was the defensive coordinator for Mississippi State. He had top 10 defenses as defensive coordinator for the University of Florida. And he's been at Temple for the last 2 years where he has been the head coach and enjoyed success there. We're really happy and just ecstatic to have him at Georgia Tech. This man is one of the most innovative college football recruiters in the entire country. So I am bringing notice to the House of Representatives right now that we are going to bring talent, top talent, back to the flats. We are going to compete. And you know, Trey Rhodes, we did something right when Representative Trey Rhodes tells me, you guys did good with that coach you hired. We have the right man for the job. The legacy and the lineage of our head coaches, John Heisman, William Alexander, Bobby Dodd, Bill Curry, Bobby Ross, George O'Leary, Paul Johnson, and now we have Coach Jeff Collins and members of the House. Most important, this man understands the value of a mascot. He is going to utilize the mascot Buzz is going to be a key component to the success that he enjoys at Georgia Tech, and you heard it here first. The man understands the mascot. Members of the House, Coach Jeff Collins.
Thank you so much. I wasn't expecting this. I've had a lot of great, very humbling experiences since I was blessed to be named the head football coach at Georgia Tech. But being a native from Atlanta, the last time I was at the state capitol was on Mr. Statler's 4th grade field trip to this great building. It's an honor and a privilege to be back home in the great state of Georgia. It's a distinct honor to represent the city of Atlanta as the head football coach at Georgia Tech. Just thank you so much for welcoming me here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, sir. Good luck to you.
Chair recognizes Representative Washburn to introduce the Doctor of the Day.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, it's an honor for me today to introduce our Doctor of the Day, Dr. Reyna K. Muna. Dr. Muna began medical school at the age of 45 at the Mercer University School of Medicine in Macon. She completed her internal medicine residency at the Atlanta Medical Center, then became board certified and began her private practice in Macon, Georgia. Dr. Muna is on the faculty of Mercer University School of Medicine and routinely mentors medical students in Macon and from elsewhere. Thank you, Dr. Muna.
Absolutely. Thank you for always welcoming me so warmly. I love this day. I love being your doctor. I encourage you, whether you're ill or not, to come share a moment with me. If you have a question about medicine, I'd be glad to talk with you about it. I want to tell you something smart that our Representative Dale Washburn did before he ran. for this office. He came and sat down with those of us in the Bibb County Medical Society. We got to know him, and he got to know us. We can be a great source of information for you, and we love it when you visit your local medical societies. Come and see me today. I look forward to taking care of you. Thank you.
This house will be in order. House will come to order. I'll ask the clerk to read the caption to House Resolution 29.
House Resolution 29 by Representative Silcox, the 52nd. A resolution honoring the life and memory of Thomas Haney Parrish, Jr., and for other purposes.
House Resolution 185.
House Resolution 185 by Representative Welch of the 110th, Holmes of the 129th, Knight of the 130th, and Mathiak of the 73rd. A resolution honoring the life and memory of Michael Allen Mack Collins, and for other purposes.
Chair recognizes Chairman Welch for an invite resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of the House, it's my pleasure and honor to recognize the life of Michael Allen Mack Collins. He was a businessman from Jackson, Georgia, Butts County. He ran Collins Trucking, but he was also a public servant. He was chairman of the Board of Commissioners for Butts County for a number of years. Then he ran for state senate and won. He served in the state senate just before our esteemed speaker, and you notice which chamber he's being honored in today, right? He then ran for the House of Representatives, served in Congress for a number of years, and he served on the Intelligence Committee, Ways and Means, and was a deputy whip. Let me say this about Mac, though. His family has joined me today, and I'll introduce them in just a moment. But Mac was the kind of guy that had tremendous integrity. He had tremendous strength. And he told me as I was campaigning, he said, when you're campaigning and when you're talking to your constituents, you listen to them. And he would grab my hand and he would hold it tight and he would pull me in close and he'd say, when you're talking to them, when they're talking to you, you look them in the eyes. And you don't do what other people do where they look over their shoulder or around. You keep those eyes locked in on that constituent. You listen to them. And his strength and his integrity just was an aura about him. And it was my pleasure to know him. And it was my pleasure to have his support. And it's my pleasure to know his family. Behind me is Mike, his son. His wife, Julie, is right here. Crystal and April. And Andy in the back, and his wife, Sherry. Of course, Miss Susan's up here with us, and Miss Mathiak. But I just would like you to just pay some respect. Well, I appreciate the House paying its respect to the family. And with that, I'll turn it over to Mike, if that's all right.
Thank you, Representative. If Coach Collins, I don't know if he's in here or not, but it must be something in that name because our campaign offices was always the Waffle House. For every campaign, it was the local Waffle House. No, thank you very much, Representative. Thank you for doing this. You don't know how much it's been comforting and encouraging, the amount of overwhelming support and recognition that it has received. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Now, Mr. Clerk, would you read the caption to House Resolution 29?
House Resolution 29 by Representative Silcox, the 52nd, a resolution honoring the life and memory of Thomas Haney Paris Jr. and for other purposes.
Chair recognizes Chairman Silcox for an invite resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is a tremendous honor this morning to have the family of Thomas Haney Paris Jr. here with us. We have with us Ms. Alice Paris, her son Trey, her daughter Elizabeth, her daughter-in-law Sandra. Mr. Paris was a rock of the community in Gainesville, Georgia. He was a true Bulldog. He played for the Bulldogs and was very active in their alumni relations afterwards. Representative Hawkins?
Thank you. I've known the Parrish family since I was a kid, and I tell you, wonderful family, great man, Tommy. He was all-state football player at Gainesville, Ohio, also president of his class. Honorable mention, All-American honorable mention in high school also. Went to Georgia and played for Wally Butts. Would have been a national name except for one thing. Another guy went at the same time, and his name was Fran Tarkington. And I'm not sure who was really the best athlete, but we have the family here and just want to think about Tommy and all the things that he did. He was on the hospital board for 10, 15 years. He was a trustee at Bernal. He was leadership Georgia. He was about everything you could think of to this community of Gainesville and to this state of Georgia.
I'd just like to say quickly, I'm Trey Paris. I'm the son, and Mr. Speaker and Representative Silcox, Representative Hawkins, just like to say thank you for this honor. On behalf of the family, we're incredibly touched by this, and it means so much. And my dad was a good man and an even better father and a great family man. He had a great love of this state, and he had tremendous respect for this body and all of the good work that this chamber does on behalf of our state. So again, on behalf of the family, I'd just like to say thank you.
House will remain at order. House will remain at order. The clerk will read the caption to House Resolution 118.
House Resolution 118 by Representative Hawkins, the 27th, Dobitnik the 29th, and Donahue the 30th. A resolution honoring the life and memory of Dr. Edwin Ed Burnett, and for other purposes.
Chair recognizes Chairman Lee Hawkins to speak to the invite resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today we are remembering the life of Dr. Ed Burnett. We have his family here to my right, his daughter Karen Reinhardt, her husband Joe, and Elaine Burnett, his wife of, 40, 50 years, 60 years? Yeah. And Cheryl Christian, she was the director at the clinic, the Good News Clinic. Ed was the founding father of the Green Warren Dental Clinic, which is part of Good News Clinic. He started his journey in life, or in healthcare, actually by attending Georgia State University for 2 years. Then he joined the U.S. Navy as a hospital corpsman. He came back to school and got his Bachelor's of Science at the University of Georgia, and Ed was a big Dog fan. Every game, home game, he was there on about the 45-yard line. When I came out of dental school, I joined his practice, or actually rented space from him for 2 years, so I got to sit at the 45-yard line some of those games and enjoy that. In fact, he is the godfather of my oldest son, Ben, and so he is known as Uncle Ed and Aunt Elaine. Ed, after coming back to Gainesville, began the clinic, the Green Warren Clinic, at the end of his dental years seeing private patients. The clinic was begun in 1997, and Ed served as a director until 2010. It was the first free dental clinic in the state of Georgia, and today is still rated in the top 10 free dental clinics in the United States. He and physician Sam Poole led the Good News Clinic into what is now a clinic seeing 23,000 patient visits a year, serving 3,500 patients, filling over 39,000 prescriptions per year for people under the poverty level of 150%. This is totally free. There's no government funding. It's all funded by donations. Their budget's $1.6 million a year, and they provide $22 million worth of service. There's 46 volunteer physicians, 43 volunteer dentists, and 250 volunteer specialty physicians that serve these patients. So today, I just want to say thank you to the family for your support of my good friend Ed Burnett, because he could have not done this without these people standing to my right. Thank you. I can barely get that up.
Clerk will read the caption to House Resolution 476.
House Resolution 476 by Representative Williams, the 145th, Stevens, the 164th, Dickey, the 140th, Jackson, the 128th, Martin, the 49th, and others. A resolution commending and congratulating Kevin Morris on being selected as a Marshall Scholar and for other purposes.
Chair recognizes Representative Rick Williams to speak to the invite resolution.
How you doing? Fine, thank you, sir. Do I start talking now? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We're here today to honor Kevin Morris. Kevin is a native of Savannah, Georgia. He's a 2017 graduate with a degree in history and economics from Georgia College and State University. He's the first Georgia College and State University Marshall Scholar, a prestigious nationally competitive scholarship program. His parents are here with us, Mark and Martha Morris, his maternal grandmother, Lillian Neal, his sisters and brother, Kirsten, Juliana, and Joshua Morris are up in the gallery. If y'all would stand, be recognized. And the president of Georgia College, Dr. Steve Dorman, is here also. Today is also Georgia College Day here at the Capitol, and a number of other students, faculty, and staff are here at the Capitol and are proudly watching from the gallery. Kevin's father, Mark, has an MBA from Georgia College. Kevin's paternal grandmother, Deanna Dixon Morris, was an alumni of Georgia College. Kevin's sister, Kirsten, graduated in math and is now in a PhD program in math at UGA. I know you'll be glad of that, Mr. Speaker. And Kevin's sister, Juliana, is currently a student at Georgia College majoring in chemistry. The Marshall Scholarship Program was founded in 1953 by an act of Parliament and is primarily funded by the British government, named in honor of former U.S. Secretary of State George C. Marshall. Scholarships commemorate the humane ideas of the Marshall Plan, expresses the continuing gratitude of the British people to their American counterparts.
Thank you, Speaker Ralston and Representative Williams, for their kind words and for the opportunity to be here today. I am both honored and humbled to be recognized by the Georgia House of Representatives for this resolution, and I am so grateful to my family, to Georgia College, and to the numerous faculty members and staff whose investment in me made this moment a reality. Ultimately, I have the state of Georgia to thank for making this education possible. The state of Georgia created a new institution in 1889 dedicated to making a university education more accessible to more Georgians, and thus Georgia College was born. This body's continued support of Georgia College represents a powerful belief that all Georgians, regardless of background or identity or hometown, should be able to receive a liberal arts education. I'm excited and grateful to the Marshall Scholarship to spend next year at the London School of Economics studying history and international relations. And I would like to thank again the Georgia House of Representatives for not only recognizing me in this resolution, but for investing in me and my education and allowing me to pursue the opportunity of a lifetime. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes, sir. Thank you again.
Chair recognizes the Majority Caucus Whip, Representative Kelly, for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On March 11, 2011, about 250 miles northeast of Tokyo, a 9.1 rated earthquake struck that created a devastation to the Japanese country and to their community. It cost the lives of 16,000 Japanese citizens. We know over the last 45 years that our state has enjoyed a partnership economically, but also personally and friendship-wise. And so I'd ask this House to stand and observe a moment of silence as we also recognize the Japanese Consulate General Shinazuka-san, who's with us today, and honor the lives of those who were lost. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
We are going on now to the rules calendar. Going on to the rules calendar, the clerk will read the caption to House Resolution 135.
House Resolution 135 by Representative Evstration and the 104th and others, a resolution urging Congress to eliminate the 5-month waiting period for disability insurance benefits for individuals living with ALS. This bill had been referred to the Committee on Health and Human Services. That committee recommends that this resolution be adopted.
Chair recognizes Chairman Evstration to present the bill, present the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I bring to you today House Resolution 135. This is a very important resolution before you. This urges Congress to eliminate the 5-month waiting period that's currently in place for disability insurance benefits for individuals living with ALS. ALS, or what's more commonly known as Lou Gehrig's disease, is a progressive and fatal neuromuscular disease. Average time to diagnose this disease is 12 months, and ALS patients often unfortunately pass within 2 to 5 years after the diagnosis. Approximately 6,000 people in the United States are diagnosed with ALS every year. Now, currently, there is a 5-month waiting period upon diagnosis of ALS before disability insurance benefits for individuals with ALS may receive those benefits. There's currently legislation pending in the U.S. Congress to address this, and Georgia would join other states in expressing the urgency of federal bipartisan legislation being passed to address this. Currently, the sponsors in both the U.S. Senate and the U.S. House support moving this measure, but unfortunately it has not been passed. I ask for your favorable consideration of H.R. 135 today for this very important resolution urging the U.S. Congress to act and also showing Georgia's support for those living with ALS. Mr. Speaker, I'd be happy to yield for any questions.
You have no questions.
I yield the well.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the adoption of the resolution? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this resolution now be adopted? All those in favor of the adoption of the resolution will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no. And the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the adoption of House Resolution 135. The ayes are 166. The nays are 0. This resolution, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore adopted. The chair wants to recognize on the floor of the House another former member who is visiting with us today, former State Representative Buzz Brockway. Clerk will read the caption to Senate Bill 99.
Senate Bill 99 by Senator Harper the 7th, Mullis the 53rd, Lucas the 26th, and others, to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 2722, the official code of Georgia annotated relating to the issuance and sale of hunting, fishing, and trapping licenses so as to provide that applications processed through the Department of Natural Resources online licensing system allow applicants to make an anatomical gift. This bill had been referred to the Committee on Game, Fish, and Parks. That committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chair recognizes Representative Vance Smith to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House. SB 99, kind of give you a little bit of background. You know, when you go to get your driver's license, the question is, do you want to be a donor or not? Well, we have a number of people in the state that are actually on the list waiting for a donor. And this bill would allow the Department of Natural Resources to ask the same question when you go to get your hunting, fishing, or trapping license. Right now, there are currently 5,330 patients in Georgia waiting for an organ or tissue transplant. And we feel like this would increase the number of donors to help those people that are in desperate need. I would certainly appreciate your consideration on SB 99. And Mr. Speaker, if there are no questions, I will yield the will.
You have no questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman has yielded the will. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of Senate Bill 99 will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no. And the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the passage of Senate Bill 99. The ayes are 164, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. The clerk will read the caption to a group of privileged resolutions.
Recognizing and commending Georgia's Grammy winners and nominees. Recognizing and commending Beauty P. Baldwin on her outstanding public service as an educator. Recognizing sustainability and economic importance of Georgia's working forest and forest product industries in honor of the United Nations International Day of Forests on March 21st. Honoring the life and memory of Chief Jimmy Williams. Recognizing and commending Dr. Sani Badu, First Lady Annie Badu, and the Rock Hill Church family for their contributions to the community and commitment to furthering the gospel of Jesus Christ. Congratulating and commending Emily Havley for receiving the 2019 Yellow Rose Nikki T. Randall Servant Leader Award. Congratulating and commending Tamara Moon for receiving the 2019 Yellow Rose Nikki T. Randall Service Leader Award. Congratulating and commending Debbie Baker Polina for receiving the 2019 Yellow Rose Nikki T. Randall Service Leader Award. Congratulating Valerie Morgan on receiving the 2019 Yellow Rose Nikki T. Randall Service Leader Award. Congratulating and commending Dorothy Clark for receiving the 2019 Yellow Rose Nikki T. Randall Service Leader Award. Congratulating and commending Michelle S. Jones for receiving the 2019 Yellow Rose Nikki T. Randall Service Leader Award. Congratulating and commending Hilda Roundtree for receiving the 2019 Yellow Rose Nikki T. Randall Service Leader Award. Congratulating and commending Katrina Thomas for receiving the 2019 Yellow Rose Nikki T. Randall Service Leader Award. Commending Dr. Walter Rodney on the 16th Annual Walter Rodney Symposium and recognizing March 23rd, 2019 as Dr. Walter Rodney Day at the State Capitol. Honoring the life and memory of Dylan Thomas. Recognizing March 13, 2019 is ARC Georgia Day at the State Capitol. Celebrating and commending the Theta Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. Recognizing and commending Joanne Weiss. Recognizing and commending the Effingham YMCA Christian Leadership Academy of the Effingham YMCA. Honoring the life and memory of Officer Edgar Flores. Recognizing and commending Cliff Hartley. Recognizing and commending Shelley Butch Anthony. Recognizing and commending Patricia Parker Cullen on her outstanding community service. Commending the Georgia residents who have type 1 diabetes and whose families continually educate and advocate, and recognizing March 14, 2019 as Type 1 Diabetes Day at the State Capitol. Recognizing March 14, 2019 as Georgia Production Day at the State Capitol. Recognizing and commending David Stanton, Ireland's Governor Minister for Equality, Immigration, and Integration. Recognizing and commending Phase Insurance Group. Recognizing and commending student government associations and student councils of Henry County. Recognizing and commending the Georgia section of the Institute of Transportation Engineers and the Atlanta chapter of the Women's Transportation Seminar for their exceptional contributions to the advancement of the transportation industry. Recognizing and commending Shane Stevens, Consul General of Ireland, and for other purposes, that completes the reading of the privilege resolutions.
Is there any objection to adopting the privilege resolutions? The chair hears none, and the resolutions are adopted. All right, we're going on now to announcements. If you have signed up for an announcement, please be at the front of the chamber and be ready to go. Chair recognizes the chair of the Minority Caucus, Chairman Beverly, for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Georgia House Democratic Caucus will meet tomorrow, room 216 at 8 a.m. sharp, 216, 8 a.m. sharp. Thanks, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Representative Beth Moore for an announcement.
Hello. The Gwinnett County House delegation will be meeting today upon adjournment in room 514 of the CLOB. Again, that is the Gwinnett House delegation, CLOB, upon adjournment. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Werkheiser for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Industry and Labor Committee will meet today at 3 o'clock, CLOB 506. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Tankersley for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The House Intergovernmental Coordination Meeting will be held today at 1 p.m. in 506 CLOB. It will begin promptly at 1 or as soon as we have a quorum, which is 5. We will hear one bill and it will move along. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Morris for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Banks and Banking will meet today at 2 p.m. in room 341. Banks and Banking, 2 p.m. in room 341. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman F. Strachan for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Judiciary non-civil, the two subcommittees will meet this afternoon. Reeves at 2 o'clock and Setzler at 3 o'clock and 4:15 CLOB. Full Judiciary non-civil meets tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. in 132 of the Capitol. Tomorrow, 8 a.m., 132 of the Capitol. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Darlene Taylor for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Life and Health Subcommittee of Insurance will meet in the morning at 8 a.m. and 4:15 CLOB. That's the Insurance Life and Health Subcommittee, 4:15 at 8 a.m.
Chair recognizes Representative Bennett for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Georgia Legislative Black Caucus Executive Committee will meet today at 2:30 in room 514, followed by the Georgia Legislative Black Caucus membership meeting at 3 o'clock in room 514 CLOB. Thank you.
Chair recognizes the Vice Chair of the Majority Caucus, Representative Gravely, for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The House Majority Caucus will meet for lunch today from 12 to 1 or upon adjournment in room 403. That's on the 4th floor here in the Capitol. Please join us for the House Majority Caucus lunch. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Reinders for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There will be a full governmental affairs meeting today at 1 o'clock, 406 of the LOB. Governmental affairs full meeting. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes the Majority Leader of the House for a motion.
Mr. Speaker, I move that this House stand adjourned until 10 a.m. Thursday, March 14th, 2019.
The Majority Leader has moved that this House be adjourned until Thursday, March 14 at 10 a.m. All those in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed will say no. The ayes have it. This House will be adjourned until Thursday at 10 a.m.